I just bought my second Tesla. I was drawn by sleek design, concern for the environment, and a respect for the company's founder. Until recently, I haven't thought of Elon Musk in political terms. Instead, I've admired him for his innovation and critical thinking. But like everything else around us, he just became the subject of our partisan divide. In a TED Talk this week, he suggested his bid for Twitter is all about free speech.
Is someone you don't like allowed to say something you don't like? And if that is the case, then we have free speech. And it's damn annoying when someone you don't like says something you don't like. That is a sign of a healthy, functioning, free speech situation.
His interest in acquiring Twitter now being heralded on the right and greeted with trepidation on the left. On Fox News, he was portrayed as a burr in the saddle of Silicon Valley progressives.
To the far left, Musk's desire to see the platform embrace freedom of speech and expression, that's a growing threat to their censorship agenda, their efforts to censor conservatives.
Let's have someone in charge who actually respects the First Amendment and free speech, so I think it's great.
So censorship and propaganda are at the very heart of neoliberalism, and Elon Musk is challenging all of that directly.
But there was this tweet from Max Boot of the Washington Post who said, quote, "I am frightened by the impact on society and politics if Elon Musk acquires Twitter. He seems to believe that on social media anything goes. For democracy to survive, we need more content moderation, not less." And I'll bet these competing narratives of Musk become self-fulfilling. In other words, when partisans hear that their polarized outlets are welcoming Musk's initiative or resistant to it, they're going to fall in line like bots. But I think it's a mistake to cast Musk in red or blue colors. What do we know about his politics? We know that in 2011, this is how he described his political ideology to The Atlantic.
I'm sort of moderate, sort of half Republican, half Democrat, if you will. But I'm somewhere in the middle. I guess I'm sort of socially liberal and fiscally conservative, which I think a lot of the country is.
Then in July of 2018, he tweeted that he's, quote, "not a conservative and registered independent, politically moderate. Doesn't mean I'm moderate about all issues. Humanitarian issues are extremely important to me." Shortly before the 2016 election, Musk told CNBC this about then-candidate Donald Trump.
I feel a bit stronger that probably he's not the right guy. He just doesn't seem... It doesn't seem to have the sort of character that reflects well on the United States.
In June of 2017, he quit two of President Trump's business advisory councils after Trump pulled the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Agreement. A year later, he proclaimed in a tweet, "I'm actually a socialist. Just not the kind that shifts resources from the most productive to the least productive, pretending to do good while actually causing harm. True socialism seeks greatest good for all." He's also not a guy donating only to Democrats or to Republicans. Since 2002, he's given a total of more than $1 million to politicians, parties, and PACs on both sides of the aisle. Among the Democratic recipients of Elon Musk's contributions, $1,000 to Debbie Wasserman Schultz in 2010, $2,500 to Barack Obama in 2011, $5,300 to Rahm Emanuel in 2013, $2,300 to Hillary Clinton in 2016, $5,000 to Gavin Newsom in 2018. For the Republicans, he donated $2,000 to George W. Bush in 2002, $2,500 to Marco Rubio in 2011, $5,200 to Lindsey Graham in 2013, $2,600 to Kevin McCarthy in 2014, $2,800 to Joni Ernst in 2020. His total donations to Democrats and Republicans are almost exactly even. Here's what he said last September to Kara Swisher, who'll join me in just a moment.
What do you think is going to bring our country together, if at all? Moving to Mars, what?
Well, I think if there was some moderate, sort of centrist president, then I think that would help. I think everyone just wants. I think most people want a president who is just a very competent, executive,
not too far left, not too far right, and everyone would be like, I think, most people would prefer that.
Look, the guy is complex in a good way. Sorry to tell those of you on the fringes, either left or right, but Elon Musk is not your guy. He's somewhere in the middle, as is the rest of the country. And how can anyone object to the way that he handled a potential Saudi impediment to his bid to take over Twitter? Saudi Prince Al-Wahid bin Talal Al Saud is a billionaire who's also one of Twitter's largest shareholders. When Musk announced his $41 billion all-cash bid for the company, the prince tweeted this: "I don't believe that the proposed offer by Elon Musk, $54.20 a share, comes close to the intrinsic value of Twitter given its growth prospects. Being one of the largest and longest-term shareholders of Twitter, the kingdom and I reject this offer." Musk's reply? Interesting. Just two questions, if I may. How much of Twitter does the kingdom own, directly and indirectly? And what are the kingdom's views of journalistic freedom of speech? Well, we know the kingdom's disregard for free speech. U.S. intel believes Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman personally approved of the murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. My color choices for my 2022 Tesla Model Y, they were pearl white, midnight silver, deep blue, solid black, and red. I say it's time for Tesla to add the founder's color, which is clearly purple. I want to know what you think. Go to my website at Smerconish.com and vote on this week's survey question: do you want Elon Musk to take over Twitter? Joining me now is Kara Swisher, host of the New York Times podcast Sway. She's interviewed Musk several times, recently wrote this column in the Times: Elon Musk knows exactly what he's doing. Kara, what exactly is he doing?
He's buying Twitter, and that's what he wants to do, and that's what he's doing. I mean, I know people think it's a pump and dump scheme, some of them, but he has plenty of money. It's not really where he would dabble if he was trying to make more money. He can go for cryptocurrency to do that on any Tuesday. But he's a big fan of Twitter, and he thinks it's going the wrong direction. He's correct in that it's been mismanaged for a long time, that its stock has been exactly where it was during the IPO, and that he has some better ideas. I think the free speech stuff gets pulled by the right and left in a way that's not what this is about, even though he does believe that. He likes to say outrageous things, and he likes just to say them, and sometimes he's tweaking people. Sometimes he's unnecessarily cruel. Sometimes he's just having fun. I know it sounds crazy, but blowing off steam, and I don't like a lot of it, but I like some of it. And so I think he's buying Twitter. That's what he's doing.
You have noted that he has himself used Twitter previously as a performance site. I was thinking of those words when I saw the exact dollar value of his bid. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I think we can speak of it. He always makes a weed reference. When he was saying he was going to take Tesla private, he said it was for $420 a share, which is it's called weed o'clock, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea, but it's a weed joke, and he likes to do that. So it was $54.20. He often does things like that around a lot of things, not just, he loves memes. He likes all kinds of memes. And so he tends to be very playful. And then again, sometimes he says things on Twitter that are just obnoxious and almost like a 11-year-old boy who hasn't been raised particularly well. But that's his manner. And then other times he says things that he puts up pictures of the rockets that he's building or the cars or some really amazing advanced technology. And so as you said, he's a complex figure.
Kara, I would argue that Donald Trump, to be successful coming back in 2024, needs access to social media, whether that's Twitter or something else, but probably Twitter. Does Elon Musk, if he's successful, necessarily need Trump and Trump supporters for Twitter to be viable in the way he'd like?
I think he'd put them back on. He objected when Jack Dorsey, who he's friends with, took them off. Yeah, I think he said it right after that happened. He said he just didn't think it was a good idea. A lot of people don't think it's a good idea, but Twitter did, and it's a public company, but it's a private company. It's a capitalist company, and it can do what it wants. I think that they would have come under this pressure, Elon Musk or no. It would be very hard for Twitter to keep that permanent ban if he was, one, running for president, and two, became president. It would be very hard. He believes in temporary suspensions or timeouts. He calls them timeouts. And, you know, I don't agree with him on this, but I think Donald Trump violated the rules of Twitter many times, but the rules of Twitter can be changed by anyone at any time because, again, it's a private company.